Yo, what's going on, guys? This game is going to be DEATHSLINGER. He's actually becoming somewhat one of my favorites, very fast. Especially with this build. I would say this build is probably his best build, like in terms of, playing for fun. If you want to kind of just a fun butt build, I would probably recommend you try this one that I'm using right now. The perk, Know Where to Hide. You could technically switch for something else, but I just like using either that. It's kind of like my information perk, right? I just like either using that or whispers, something that's gonna help me find them. It doesn't help me at the end game, but I feel like this perk, you get so much value throughout the match. So yeah, I just really like using to counter. It just sucks when you try not to tunnel, right? You try not to camp to find something else, and the guy just keeps fucking like hiding around the gen. So it's almost like he's asking you, he's forcing you to tunnel, because otherwise you can't find the guy because he's stealthing around the gen. Meanwhile, everyone else is doing the dens, and you lose the game. So Nowhere to Hide just perfectly counters that. And you see the strategy is quite simple. As soon as you injure them the first time, you have the solution active. So basically, the next pallet they use, they're dead. That's kind of about it. Especially if the pallet has already been dropped. Because with his gun, you can obviously shoot over the pallet, right? If he's vaulting the pallet while healthy and you shoot the gun, he's going to be injured. It's going to count as an injured state. And then if he leaves the loop, he dies. And if he stays in the loops and vaulted pallets, he dies because of the solution. So it's a really great combo for DEATHSLINGER. I think maps like the game, where the pallets are super safe, are a better example of how well this solution can work on DEATHSLINGER. Because it mainly is for very safe pallets, right? That you're gonna get the most value out of the solution. I'm not sure, but I believe I do get somewhat a few value of it in this game. But like I mentioned, it's gonna shine more on the very hard maps where you have like super safe pallets. Where you have like no work around it, right? That shot I could have taken right there, and it probably would have hit him, but I was kind of hesitant. But yeah, basically you see when you get the obsession, you make sure you get the first injure with the gun, because that way you don't lose your stacks, right? And once you get to like 8 stacks, you can basically like hit him, and you can basically like hit him and shoot him, right away, because the recovery is so fast with 8 stacks, and it's almost like they have like no reaction. It's really cool how like borrowed time also gives you stacks for save the best for last. Oh, he almost got it. That's kind of funny. He forgot he had a flashlight because he was so worried about the Palestine. I was laughing so hard when I saw that during the game. I was like, he forgot he had a flashlight because he was so focused on doing the Palestine. So you see what I mean? Like, it's getting to 8 stacks. You see, they get like no distance on you, and not just that, but you can literally, like, if you haven't fired yet, you can just shoot the gun on him before he even gets too much distance on you after the melee recovery. It's pretty fun. So yeah, that's why I think this is the most fun. Like, you have, since you're gonna be kicking gens a lot with the Nowhere to Hide, right? Eruption just kind of synergizes very well with this perk. You see the value right there, very good. You see she's already on last health state, so we might as well take the hit there. But yeah, it's just really fun to have that fast recovery on the melee, and it's also really fun to just know where they are all the time because you're kicking the gens. And it's also really fun to use the solution as well, especially when it works on a very safe pallet. Like in this game, I'm not getting that many examples with it, but maybe on the next games that I upload with DEATHSLINGER, you'll be able to see better how much of a value the solution can be, especially against good players, because there's nothing they can do against the perk, right? It's quite fun to kill them with the solution as well. So it's just like an overall fun build. Eruption is really just more for the slowdown, right? If it was the pre-nerf DEATHSLINGER, you could try even not using eruption for monitoring abuse, for example, because his terror radius used to be so much smaller, and you could kind of stealth on people on the gens because the terror radius was so small. But now he's like has a 32 meters, so it's like, you know, there's no point. But yeah, I would say for him, like the best perks are synergized with his power. Would be save the best for last and dissolution for sure. You could technically use Hex Blood Favor for the solution as well, but it's Hex, right? So not as it's not gonna be as consistent. But yeah, if you guys play Deathslinger, try this build. Is actually quite consistent, like, because you can get the down so fast because of these two perks. Especially if you're not missing your shots. You see, this is kind of an example. Like, imagine she's not injured yet. I could easily fire with her with the weapon right now, like you see right there, and she would be injured, right? So that would count as the change of a health state. And since she's gonna be stuck on the loop, and this solution will be active, right? So if she vault, I could just loop the loop again, and if she vaulted, she would die because the solution would be active. So that's kind of the play there with the solution. Is on a pattern like that when he's already dropped, and especially that's the best situation, right? When it's already dropped and they are still healed, you can just fire over the pallet, and that pretty much guarantees you. Because if they leave the loop, like, you recover from the stun fast enough that you can just melee them. But if they stay on the loop, they die because the solution is active. So it's really like a win-win combo. That was a hit right there, but it hit the little pillar there. Very unfortunate. You see right there, I could probably shot him with the gun there, and it would have I could have kind of circled around it. You see what I mean there too with the solution. It's kind of nothing you can do, but you can kind of do this as well. Like if the loop is open enough, doesn't have high walls and whatnot, it's very easy for you to circle like that with the gun too. So like I said, like for example, in a situation like that, the solution really didn't, you know, wasn't all that necessary. But especially for those like very safe pallets, it does make a huge difference. And not even that, like even if you're like in the middle of the map and he's in a health state, like, and you shoot him to activate the solution, but then he runs to another pallet, you know, because he's in the middle of the map and there's so many other options to chain him. It still does. It's still quite effective because the solution is active for 20 seconds. So you'll be able to loop the next loop that he ran W to, while the solution is still active. And by the time he dropped that pallet on the next loop, the solution will still be active. And so, you know, you might even end up getting the down right there on the next loop. So the solution is like great value. But on maps like that, like this, which is kind of open, you know, not many super safe pallets. Pallets are very easy to like circle around with the chain and whatnot. You may not seem like you're not getting too much value from it, but just trust on it on the good maps, on the very bad maps like the game. Maybe even though those type of Macmillan ones where they have like the very strong tiles, will have the safe pallet and the window on the same maze. That's a great value. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Take care. See you guys in the next one.